Everything inside Google Analytics 4 is an event. If you are an e-commerce store owner or if you are a game developer, I highly recommend that you go and implement the recommended events. In the last video, we discussed how Google Analytics 4 is different from Universal Analytics. And among the two major differences, the one was that Google Analytics 4 comes up with a new data model. What that means is you are standardizing the way you are tracking data from multiple devices. And this new data modeling is dependent upon something called events, which is very new in the way it is implemented in Google Analytics 4. In this video, we are going to discuss exactly that. Everything inside Google Analytics 4 is an event. Whether you are making a click, whether you are making a purchase, whether you are scrolling to the end of the page. And the reason it is designed in this way is you needed a way to standardize the way you're tracking the events, because the way you track data in mobile devices is very different from the way you do it on a web app. And Google Analytics 4 allows you to do this very easily with events. Now, Google Analytics 4 has 4 categories of events, which we are going to discuss right away. Number 1, automatically collected events. So these are the events which Google automatically collects on your website even if you haven't asked it to. So that kind of means that whether your user is on your mobile app, iOS or Android, or he's on your web app, these events are going to get collected. As long as you have the Firebase SDK or jtag.js installed on a website, these events are going to be calculated automatically. Google has complete list of this automatically collected events. For your convenience, I have added the link in the description. You can thank me later. Second is enhanced measurement tracking. So they are exactly like automatically collected events, except for the fact that you need to go into the backend and tell Google that you want to track these events. So there are 6 specific enhanced tracking events that Google allows you to track. It starts with page view. You can also track the scroll. You can also track the outbound link clicks. You can track file downloads. You can track site search and of course video engagement. The third one is recommended events. And as the name suggests, this is what Google recommends. What that means is you need to implement these events manually. And to do that, you need to use the exact name that Google tells you, and you need to add the exact parameters that Google's need you to pass on with these events. One of the most relevant example of recommended events is purchase. So let's say you want to track someone who purchased something on your website. And if you want to do that, you need to use the exact event name that Google offers, which is purchase in small caps. And you need to pass the parameters associated with it, like what was the currency, what was the exact amount value. Recommended events will make your Google Analytics 4 reports even more meaningful. And if you are an e-commerce store owner or if you are a game developer, I highly recommend that you go and implement the recommended events. And the final one is custom events. So as the name suggests, these are custom. You need to go and define them, and they are something that is very specific to you or your business. But a word of caution before you go down that lane, because if you want to track custom events, please ensure that that event name is not under the category of recommended events, enhanced tracking event, or for instance, automatically collected events. There are 2 ways you can implement custom events. So number 1 is using global site tag, which means you need to install gtag.js, which requires hard coding and you'll need a developer to implement that. The second way to implement custom events is using Google Tag Manager. There is a standard process to it. If you don't know how to do that, you can subscribe to my channel immediately, because I'm going to come up with you about that very shortly. So yeah, that was all about Google Analytics 4 events. If you want to see more videos like this, you can follow me on LinkedIn.